Hi everybody and welcome to Budget with Tiffany. I'm Tiffany. I'm so excited to have you here today. I'm going to be doing my first cash unstuffing for the month of June. So let's see. And if you didn't watch my savings challenge Saturday, I opened some Happy Mail in which I got this finances dashboard from the Aesthetic Dollar. So I'm loving it. So let's jump through to my online spending. Let me open this. So let's see, we'll go into my longer term sinking funds binder first, just because there's only a few in there. So for clothing, my husband did end up stopping and getting some sneakers on his way home from the track meet last week. So he stopped at both an ASICS store and a Nike store and bought two different pairs of shoes, but I just lumped it together and that ended up coming out to be $78. So we'll take 100 and that'll end up being $22 back. So 100, $222, which is correct. And then my husband's 20-year high school reunion is coming up, and technically the school that's here in Minnesota is not the one he actually graduated from. He just went there for his freshman year of high school before they moved to California, where he finished out high school, but they still invited him to come to the reunion, so that was really fun. So he is gonna go to the reunion. I don't think I'm gonna go, so it ended up being $80 for just himself to go. I had mine several years ago and I don't feel like mine was $80 per person. So let's see, I'll take this 100 and don't have another 20, so I'll just do 10, 20. So now we've got 500, 600, 700, 20, 40, 50, 60, 75. So $775, yes. So actually while I am doing this, I had somebody ask me to kind of walk through how I use prop money while also keeping track of how much should be in each envelope and don't overspend, and because I'm not using my actual cash, and a lot of it's really no different than even if I was using real cash, but like I use my credit card. So really the biggest thing is, first I use the budget binder to plan out my budget for the month. So this is actually I guess we'll go to June's budget. I write down the income, write how much is going to be my mandatory bills, and plan that out and keep track of what the actual bill ended up being. And then I keep track of all of our variable expenses, sinking funds, how much I'm gonna do for the month since we're paid. So I get paid every other week, and my husband gets paid a few days after the beginning of the month and a few days after the middle of the month. So sometimes our pay overlaps and is in the same week, and sometimes it's every opposite weeks. And then coaching, he only gets paid for the few months that he coaches during the year. And then we've got our side hustle, which is paid out the same weeks that I get paid. So we've just found it's easier to budget what we earn in one month for the next month than just do a monthly budget. So then I just plan for the whole month what I'm gonna budget for each thing, and then I've just broken it down per week. And these budget planners are from the Aesthetic Dollar. I've really enjoyed using them. I added these extra lines to do the weekly. So I just add 4 or 5 lines depending on if it's a 4-week month or a 5-week month. And then I've got the savings challenges. So I do the same thing. Figure out how much I'm gonna set aside for each of the different savings challenges, and then break it down by week. So that's kind of the first place I start, is I figure out exactly where my money's going each week and each month. Then I use the cash planning sheet. So I take the money or the information that I've put in for column 1, which is week 1, and that goes on cash planning page for the first week. So then I plan out exactly how many denominations of each bill that I need for each category. And so I do that front and back. And so this is week 2, and then I'm starting to prepare for week 3. And so I have that. And then I cash stuff each week. Can watch those videos. And then really the biggest thing that I do is I use these budget sheets. Right now I've been keeping them in the back of the envelopes. I might eventually change that because I kind of hate having to pull these in and out every week to update it. I kind of actually would rather have something in a separate binder, so I might eventually switch to that, but I still have these budget sheets that I just want to use since I have them and not waste them. So I keep track of every time I've added money, and then any time I've spent money, the outflow. And so these are obviously the longer term funds, so it doesn't have as many transactions. But my variable binder, like groceries is probably my most busy one. It's cash stuffing, then what I spend, and then when I cash stuff again, I take out anything that was remaining and add in the new amount. So because I'm not using cash, or I'm paying with credit card really, that's where this online spending really comes into play. I keep track of everything. It's really not online spending alone. It's anytime I use my credit card or anytime I pay a bill online, where I'm not using, paying with physical cash, which I don't generally use physical cash for much of anything, occasionally, but I just, keep track how much it was spent. I usually round up to the nearest dollar. Occasionally, like if it was like $7.01, I'll go down, by that penny or something. But most of the time I round up so that I kind of end up with a little extra change that kind of builds up. And actually kind of, if you noticed in my monthly income, I have like a keep the change category. And so that's all the, the 50 cents here, the 22 cents there, the 74 cents there that I have from rounding up. At the end of each month, I account for that. Also comes into play for like my monthly bills, because sometimes like my water bill, I don't know exactly what it's gonna be before I budget. So I always budget $100, and it's thankfully, knock on wood, never gone over $100. So I might have like $12 or $14 that I didn't spend. So that'll go towards keep the change for the next month. So I keep track there, and then you can kind of see that I have, Target on the 10th for groceries, $7. And so I have a mirroring transaction here on my budget sheet. So sometimes I update it right after I make the transaction, but a lot of times I don't. I update it right before I film these videos. So if you are solely relying on these, to keep track, then obviously updating it as soon as you come home with your receipt or whatever, whether you're spending cash or using credit card, and updating those, I use You Need a Budget. So I actually just enter it into either the online website, or there's an app on my phone that I can use, and I just go in and, you know, add in the transaction and subtract it and it automatically subtracts from whichever category I assign it to. So then if I'm out and about and I'm like, how much money do I have left in groceries, I can just look it up on my phone, which is really nice. And so You Need a Budget kind of serves as kind of almost a mirror to having a cash envelope in your wallet. So yeah, that's kind of what I do. And then, so each week I do the unstuffing, where I pull the money out of here, whether before when I was actually using cash, and I would, you know, take that back to the bank to pay the credit card in full, or now that I use prop money, basically I just really accounting for it in my binders and my envelopes to show that it's accurate and matches what I have in You Need a Budget. So that's really probably the longest thing that takes me, is as I'm adding each transaction or doing my cash stuffing, I'm always making sure it equals what each category has or each envelope has in You Need a Budget. I just make sure that they're exactly the same. So yeah, so I mean, you don't need to use an app. I love You Need a Budget. I've been using it probably for 10 plus years now. I know Eva at Budget Your Life also uses You Need a Budget and loves it as well. And she actually does some videos where she goes through using You Need a Budget. I've thought about doing it, but I haven't so far, but she is a good place. And I know there's some other people on YouTube that do tutorials or show how they use You Need a Budget for their own personal situation. So definitely recommend, if you have any interest in learning more about You Need a Budget, to check out those videos. I will try to, maybe if I remember, link in my description, link to one of Eva's videos where she kind of walks through how she uses You Need a Budget. Looking at her videos, I feel like I use it a little bit differently than she does, but I think that's just like cash stuffing. There's so many different ways that you can use it to your advantage, and you can work, I mean, just like with cash stuffing, even since February when I started this channel, I've changed things up to make it work better for me. Over the 10 plus years that I've been using You Need a Budget, I'm always kind of evolving how I actually use it. They come out with new features, and so that helps, you know, with the different things that I can do with it. But yeah, I just like being able to have access to via my phone. Exactly. I know there's some other programs. I know there's Dave Ramsey has a program called, I think it's Every Dollar. I think there's like a free version, but it doesn't have all the bells and whistles without having to pay for it. And then there's might be some other ones that can't think of off the top of my head, but You Need a Budget, you do have to pay. You get a 34-day trial, which I think is really cool. You don't even have to put in your credit card information. And then if you like using it, then you can get a membership. You can pay monthly, or you get a discount if you pay for a year up front. If you're a student, they give student discounts, things like that. There's a link in my description for a referral. So if you want to check it out, you can sign up using my referral link. And if you do decide to actually sign up for a membership subscription, then we each get something. I forget what it currently is, but I really loved using it. It works with my brain. There's a little bit of a learning curve, which I think is partly why they give it a 34-day trial, to give you a chance to really kind of try it out. I'm happy to answer any questions. If you're interested in me doing a video, I can see about trying to do a video about how I use it. But yeah, so I hope that answers people's questions about using, I mean, just general of how I budget with, using primarily credit cards and online spending, but now also with using prop money, and keeping track of everything. So if you have any other questions, please don't hesitate to ask me questions. I'll try to answer them in the, in response, or if it's something that is easier to do in a video, I'll definitely do it this way, because sometimes it's just easier to do it, or I can walk through it audio wise and visual wise versus trying to type out a long answer. So but yeah, so going back to our variable binder, Friday night last week, my husband and I did end up getting to go out. We went out to dinner at a Jamaican place in Minneapolis, and had dinner there. It was delicious. It's been, I think, the second time we've gone to this place, and highly recommend it. It's called Pimento. So it was $52. So we've got 60 here. So we'll get back $8. And then after we got dinner, we walked around for a while. It was a beautiful night out, and so we stopped, after we walked for a while, we stopped at a local, it's a restaurant slash bar. My husband got a beer. I'm not really a beer person, so I just had water. So that ended up being $8. So take back 12. And then we actually ended up going out on a impromptu date night. So we had 2 date nights this last week, which is pretty much like unheard of, but it was really, really nice. I had a post-work happy hour hosted by a local law firm, and several of us from work went to it. And after, since it kind of went a little bit later in the evening, my husband picked me up on his way home from work. So we stopped at a local brewery, and again, he got a beer and I had some water, and we just sat outside, and it was lovely. So it was nice to have not only 1, but 2 date nights in a week, and one of which was kind of impromptu, not planned, not talked about in advance, other than he might pick me up on his way home. But now we're saying that we might try to do that more often because it was so much fun. So it was 11 and I put in 12, so I got $1 back. So now we've got $6, which is correct. And then groceries, got $7 worth of groceries at Target. So 10, 12, 13. And then I got $52 worth of groceries at Aldi, so 52. And that is it for groceries. So I have $31 left over. I'm still trying to increase groceries a little bit to eating more protein and stuff like that, but it's still kind of a transition and everything. So didn't spend a ton and had bumped up the monthly or weekly amount, so I have a nice amount left over. For household, I bought some toilet paper at Target, so we've got 50, and it was $6, so take back 20. Let me break this 20 for 2 10s. So 20. Oh, wait. 50. I should have kept that 20. That's all right. 45, 47, 48. So, or wait, no. I want $44 left back, so I'm confusing myself. So 50, $70, $80, $92, $94, yes. That's why I don't talk and do math at the same time. My food, I got some Naf Naf Grill for lunch today, which is probably one of my favorite places to get lunch. I was trying to get something different, but on my walk back from doing an errand, nothing else really sounded good, and can't go wrong with Naf Naf. It's, for those that aren't familiar, it's like a Middle Eastern restaurant, like fast food restaurant. It's got bowls, falafel, you know, pitas, you know, things like that. So it's delicious. It's one of my favorite places. Spending, let's see. So I spent $5 for a massage tip, and I did technically pay that in cash, but I just accounted for it here. And so, yeah. Still wanted to account for it, even though I technically paid for it in cash rather than a credit card. And then I mentioned in one of my last videos that I got like 4 donuts for the price of 1 because they were giving away donuts at the end of the day. So it was $2, so 5, give myself back 3. And then I got membership at on YouTube for Eva at Budget Your Life. I signed up for her, and that was $8. So if I do 22 minus 8, no, 23 minus 8, that's what I want to do, 15. So 23, and I give myself back 15. So $35, which is correct. I don't know if you can hear the ice cream truck. I never know, because a lot of times people will say like, oh, I'm sorry if you can hear this noise, but then you can't really, like, when you're listening to the video, you can't really hear it. So I'm like, I can hear it so well, but I don't know how much it picks up on the phone. So so I don't know if you can hear it or not, but and then at Target I also picked up some toiletries, and I don't remember what I bought, so it was $22. So we got 22, so we've got $20, $35, $36 left. And that was it. So that comes out to be $345, and I had $70 in here to start, so I'll set that aside. Let's see if I did this correctly. So we got 100, 200, 250, 300, 20, 35, 42, 43, 44, 45. So $345. Always happy when it comes out correctly. So yeah, so that is the end of this cash unstuffing. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to comment and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.